Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're taking a deep dive into something a bit different, a very specific kind of source material. We've got excerpts from this narrative called The Cursed Mirror, a horror podcast tale.
Uh-huh.
Our mission really is to explore how this story unfolds, the elements that build up that chilling atmosphere and what makes this tale well, so haunting. It's kind of a shortcut to understanding a really unique piece of horror.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, how this narrative meticulously constructs its dread. It really draws you deep into Anika Sharma's terrifying journey. What really stands out for me is how cleverly it uses seemingly ordinary objects to create this intense sense of unease. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights the power of storytelling to make us feel unsettled by the mundane.
Absolutely. And Anika Sharma, our central figure, she starts out so pragmatic, so grounded. Picture this. She's a 29-year-old interior designer from Mumbai. And she inherits this huge, centuries-old estate way up in the hills of Udi. Beautiful, but old. Her plan. Totally practical. Clean it up, sell it fast, move on. She wasn't superstitious at all. Zero belief in that stuff.
Right, grounded in reality. But then, despite that, she finds this mirror. It's tucked away in the attic, hidden behind all these dusty crates, draped in a thick white cloth. And the description is striking ornate antique gold carvings of these, unknown symbols all around the frame. The narrative specifically says it felt off, even then, but also beautiful. This raises an important question, doesn't it? What compels us to bring the unknown into our lives, especially when something about it felt off? That little warning sign.
Exactly, that off feeling.
Yeah.
It's that mix of beauty and unease that kind of hooks her, I think. And from there, it slowly pulls her into this genuinely terrifying situation where we're talking about horror that escalates,
Mm-hmm.
Starts subtle, then becomes these direct, horrifying reflections. So Anika, she decides, despite that weird feeling, to bring this fancy mirror down into her bedroom. Big mistake, obviously.
Yeah.
And almost right away, the whole vibe in the house just shifts.
Yeah.
Lights start flickering when they shouldn't. The temperature drops suddenly. Cold spots.
Classic signs.
Yeah, and the mirror itself, sometimes it seems to show something that just isn't there in the room with her. Not a reflection of something behind her, but something inside the mirror, watching.
And that's where the story is so effective in building tension, you see. Anika, being rational, tries to explain it all away at first. She thinks, oh, it's just old pipes or, faulty wiring, standard stuff for an old house. But then comes that moment you just can't explain away. One night, she's just brushing her hair, totally normal activity, and she sees it in the reflection. Clear as anything, a woman standing right behind her. That's not ambiguous anymore, is it? That shatters her practical worldview. It's the turning point.
Oh, yeah. And it's not just like a shadow or a fleeting glimpse. The story describes her very distinctly, wearing a long black sari, her face all twisted and pale. Creepy. So Anika naturally whips around.
And nothing's there.
Exactly. Room's empty. The story says she stopped using the mirror right after that. Threw a cloth over it. Smart move, but maybe too late.
Seems like it.
Because the terror had already, taken root. The nightmare started. Always the same woman. Always whispering this one chilling word in this horrible, shrill voice. Return.
Oof. Yeah, the psychological horror really ramps up there. It's not just visual anymore.
Definitely. So she's freaked out by seeing things in the nightmares. So Anika does what anyone might do. She tries to find answers. She starts digging into her family history, specifically her great-grandmother's past.
And this is such a crucial pivot in the narrative, isn't it? The investigation part. She finds this old journal. Pages are brittle, ink's faded. Classic horror trope, but effective. And inside, it tells this really chilling story about a woman named Madhavi.
Right, Madhavi. Turns out she was a maid who used to work in that exact same mansion years ago. And she vanished one night, just gone, no trace.
Vanished.
Yeah. And the last entry in that old journal, it mentions the mirror directly. It said Madhavi had become completely obsessed with it, totally consumed. She was convinced she could see her dead husband in the reflection.
Oh, wow.
Until one day she apparently screamed, "They won't let me out," and poof, never seen again.
So a previous victim, tied to the exact same mirror. That's not just history repeating. That feels like a direct warning to Anika, a premonition almost.
It totally does. It's like the past isn't just echoing, it's actively reaching out.
Bleeding into the present, yeah.
And get this, the very same night Anika reads about Madhavi, she hears sobbing, coming from her own bedroom.
No.
Yep. She opens the door, and the mirror, it's uncovered again. The cloth is gone. And in its reflection, it's not showing Anika or her room, it's showing Madhavi. Crouched down, sobbing, trapped inside the glass.
That's horrific. A visual confirmation of Madhavi's fate, trapped right there.
Yeah.
And a direct threat to Anika, basically saying, you're next.
Understandably, she completely freaks out. Tries desperately to get rid of the mirror. She drags it outside, tries smashing it with rocks, a hammer, whatever she can find.
But it won't break.
Not even scratch.
Yeah.
It's completely indestructible. That feels so important, doesn't it? What does that add, that impermeability?
Oh, it adds everything. It completely shifts the nature of the horror. It goes from being something maybe tangible, something you could potentially fight or escape, like a ghost you could try to banish, to something utterly inescapable, fundamentally supernatural and beyond physical harm. The mirror isn't just haunted. It's like an indestructible prison, and that's way more terrifying. The story implies there's just no breaking free once this curse has locked onto you.
And then the story just ends for Anika, doesn't it? She vanishes.
Just like Madhavi. Weeks later, her friend Priya gets worried. Calls aren't answered. So Priya goes to the house to check on her, finds it abandoned, dusty, quiet, no sign of a break-in or anything like that.
But the mirror.
But the mirror is there, still in perfect condition, standing right in the middle of the living room, almost like it's waiting. And in its reflection, Priya sees Anika.
Oh, God. Trapped.
Trapped, screaming apparently, but Priya can't hear anything. No sound comes out.
Silent screaming. That's chilling.
It really is. That silencing of the victim, it's not just terrifying, it's a really powerful narrative choice. It echoes Anika's own, now literal, voicelessness. It suggests this cycle, this inescapable doom that goes beyond just the physical house. It's almost existential horror.
So what does this all mean for Anika and for this awful mirror? We've traced this horrifying path, haven't we? From a, totally practical interior designer just trying to sell an inheritance to being tracked forever inside this ancient thing that just would not break or even scratch. Her fate, just like Madhavi's before her, sealed inside that glass.
And if we step back, connect this to the bigger picture, the story gives us that final detail. The mirror is now apparently locked away in a museum vault somewhere, covered up, chained. It sounds secure, right?
You'd think so.
But guards sometimes report hearing whispering from behind the vault door. A woman's voice repeating that same single word, return.
And this raises an important question, I think, about how persistent these kinds of energies or curses might be.
Yeah.
It suggests it's not really about just one victim, Anika or Madhavi, but maybe an ongoing, uncontainable threat that just waits, changes location, but it's still active.
Wow. Yeah, it's a really stark warning, isn't it? The whole narrative leaves you with this unease. Be careful what you bring home, from a flea market or find hidden in your grandparents' attic. Because as the story chillingly puts it, some mirrors don't just show your reflection, they trap it. That's such a powerful, lasting image. And this whole tale, it really makes you think about perception, doesn't it? This raises an important question. In a world where we're constantly, reflecting on ourselves, metaphorically and literally, what unseen things might we be inviting into our perception without even realizing it? And how do we ever truly know what's just an image, just a harmless reflection staring back, versus what might hold a deeper, maybe dangerous truth, something that could, consume us?